How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today's topic is based around a quotation from a guy called Zig Ziglar, who's a motivational speaker from the last few decades. He's died there recently. But the quotation is, failure is an event, not a person. You know, too often we look at failure as if it's something personal, as if it's something to do with us, right? That it's something to do with our genetic makeup or our education, or that it's to do with our intelligence, for instance, right? And this is all taking things on a very personal level. And often, most of the times, it's nothing to do with that. That when you fail at doing something, it's because you either don't know a skill, you haven't got a skill yet, you haven't developed a skill. It's something that is fixable, right? It's something that you can learn from. When you make a failure, you can learn from the failure, you can move on, and you can be successful in whatever you want to do, right? You know, so life is dynamic. You know, life and education and growth are all about, you know, trying to do something, making a mistake, trying again, making a mistake, educating yourself a little bit about what went wrong, what you could possibly do right the next time, and trying it again and again and again. I mean, I hate seeing people who fail when they're trying to quit drinking alcohol, because it's such a simple process, right? The process is, don't put the alcohol into your mouth, right? If you do that, you've quit drinking alcohol. But the reason most people fail at this is because they can't separate themselves from the alcohol, right? From the alcohol drinking, from the thinking, from the behavior, all that kind of stuff, right? They just cannot separate themselves from that core belief that they are a drinker, or that this is the only way to do things. You know, there's another way where people manage to quit drinking for a long time, and then something will happen in their lives which puts them out of control. And because they haven't got the coping mechanisms, they haven't learned to cope in a specific situation, what they'll do is they'll go back to the drinking just to get over that hurdle. You know, it could be somebody important in their lives has died, or something serious has happened in their lives that has just put a spoke in everything else, and it's the only thing that they can do. Now, you know, either of these things, whether you just can't seem to get on a roll with quitting drinking, right, or you've quit drinking for a long time and you've gone back to it because of some trauma, all of these things are reversible. You know, there's very few things in life which are irreversible, right? You can do something about most things. You can learn how to cope with life without alcohol very easily, you know. I mean, you learn to cope gradually over the years with life with alcohol. I mean, when we take it down to its basic level, alcohol is a poison. It's a toxin that you're taking into your body, and your body learns how to cope with that. So it's just the reverse of that, right? What we think is that we can't teach old dog new tricks, right? We have that kind of mentality. And we think that because we've always drank in order to celebrate, to relax, to sleep, to whatever we're doing, that we have to always do that. You know, as long as you think about your future self, or your present self for that matter, in the same language of what you've done in the past, and you believe that your past or your future, you believe that your present or your future represents the past and has to be done the same way as you did in the past, then you're always going to fail. Yeah, so don't be afraid or ashamed or feel any guilt about failing, no matter what it is, whether it's with the alcohol or whether it's with something that you're trying to push yourself forwards to achieve in your life, right? Don't be afraid of it, right? Don't let anyone else try and make you feel shame about it, right? What you have to do is you have to put it behind you. As I say, learn from your mistake and get back up onto the path again. Get back onto your new journey. Don't give it a second thought. Just don't do it again, right? And, you know, every time you make a mistake, you have to repeat this same process. I mean, we're just surrounded by propaganda, right? Propaganda that will tell you that one drink and you're back to the start again. Propaganda that will say to you that you're an alcoholic, that you'll always be an alcoholic because you've got a problem with drink, right? Most people who drink alcohol have got a problem with it. Most people who drink alcohol are dependent on it to a certain degree. It's the nature of the the beast, right? Alcohol is a drug, and it's going to affect you in the same way as it's going to affect somebody else because it is a drug. There's different degrees to this. It will affect somebody else, somebody with a different temperament, differently than you. It will affect somebody who's bigger than you or smaller than you in a different way. It will affect somebody who's had different experiences about alcohol in their past differently than it will, but from a physical perspective, we generally all are affected by any drug in the same way as somebody else. The same physical rules apply. You can't take the rules and break the rules. The rules are going to be the same thing. There's just so many different people out there that are making a lot of money by propagating this bullshit, right? By saying that people are going to be alcoholics for the rest of their lives, right? Same way as there's people out there, the alcohol companies are making fortunes out of propagating the idea that it's normal to drink alcohol in the first place, that alcohol should be drank as a normal part of our daily lives, that it should be drank when we're celebrating and congratulating each other, right? It should be drank in order to socialize, and to have fun, that you can't really have fun if you don't have a certain brand of beer or a certain brand of wine or whatever. So think about the quote again. It's that failure is an event, it's not the person. And this is one of the critical distinctions, right? All experience in life, all education, all growth is going to come at the expense of certain failure in certain aspects of your life. The biggest thing is when you are afraid of doing something, and through that fear, through the fact that you don't want to appear, you either don't want to appear stupid in front of somebody, or you don't want to have the guilt trip, or you don't want to have your pride hurt, so you don't want to fail, and you want to try and avoid failure at all costs. This is when it stops people from actually doing the things that they need to do in order to grow, right? In order to move forward, in order to get the best out of their lives. And they just don't do something then, and it's that is the real failure in life, when, your fear or whatever it is you're thinking stops you from going out there and trying to do something, to achieve something in your life. So there's only one antidote to this. There's only one thing that you can do to stop this, and that's to take bold action, to go out and do the things that you want to do the things that are necessary for you to do, right? To make the mistakes, to take the failures, to learn by the failures, and to carry on and keep doing it. Try and try again. If at first you don't succeed, that's the best way of doing it, And don't be afraid of looking like a cock, I mean, we all do at certain times in our life. I mean, from a personal perspective, I was looking more and more like a dick when I was drinking, and when I was refusing to change, and when I was talking about alcohol in the stupid ways that I was talking about it, oh, this is just me, I'm just a drinker, this is what I do, and oh yeah, no worries, I can go out and drink 20 pints, no problem, it's my constitution. What bullshit, I mean, that was making me look more like an idiot than anything else in my life, and as I said time and time again, since I've stopped drinking, it hasn't been that I've made no mistakes. I've made loads of mistakes. I just haven't made any mistakes in that one core thing, right, of not drinking again. I've not put any more alcohol past these lips, right? So that's the one thing that I haven't done. But with everything else that I've done, I've made mistake. I've made mistake after mistake after mistake. The difference is that most of the time with those mistakes, I've learned something and I've tried to do it differently, because I've wanted to grow and I've needed to grow, I've needed to move myself away, so it's out of that necessity, necessity is the mother of all invention, that you really push yourself, that you really push yourself despite the failure and despite the fact that you haven't got the confidence, to, and a lot of the time that's half the reason why you do fail, is because you haven't got the confidence to do it, So, that's my take on it anyway. Failure is an event, it's not a person. Don't take it personally, it's nothing to do with you. It's a fact that you most of the time need to learn a skill, right? You need to learn something new in order to push yourself over that obstacle. So look at all failures as small little obstacles or little detours. Get back onto the path, do what you need to do, carry on. Till next time, I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. If you want to download our Quit Drinking Starter Pack, you can get it over at alcoholmastery.com. It's absolutely free. There's 3 different courses on there, 3 different books, a few other bits and pieces. Like I say, just come over, leave your first name and your email address, and I'll send it out to you in the postal ether, as they say. Until next time, take care of yourself. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth, onwards and upwards. Take care. Bye now.